Welcome to Seafarer, the ship simulator, releasing October 7th in early access, and today we are working on the Bernard tugboat here at Crescent Port. We will be helping the larger ships maneuver through the port to their docks, but first, let me take you on a tour of our boat so you can get familiar. Welcome aboard, and I hope you don't mind getting wet or you brought your raincoats. We are here in the front or the bow of the ship where we'll start our tour, and the main thing we have up here is this massive winch controller and the tug line or the tow line here we can see there. And we also have an anchor right here we can actually turn on and off, but we're docked right now, so we don't really need an anchor. But that's really all we have up here in the front. Here is the line that we'd actually throw over or connect to the tow line. And then over here on the behind that we have a bell, which actually works. Then we have some exterior storage, which we can't use at the moment, but we have it. And that's really all we have in the front of the ship, or the bow. Let's go ahead and move towards the back, and then we'll work our way to the interior. So you can see right now we're docked, we're moored here to the parking spot. One thing I'll go ahead and say that I don't like here in its early access build of Seafarer is these like highlighted parking spots. I wish there was a way they can show parking spots or hide that so it doesn't always show up there. That's kind of annoying. But back here we have the mooring hooks, which you can't manually moor. There's like an auto docking system. You just kind of pull into the spot. You'll see it later. You pull into the spot and it kind of docks for you automatically. I would like to be able to do that manually or some other way, like a more realistic way of doing mooring. But it is what it is. Back here, some life raft. Another one. So safety first. In the back, we have another massive winch where we can store our tow lines. So we can either winch from the front or the back of the tugboat, which is not too bad. Anyways, that's pretty much all we have out here. Inflatable lifeboat up there on the top right. Anything on the left here? No, nothing else of interest really out here. Pretty simple ship. You know, it's a tugboat. It's made for one purpose. Let's go into the interior now. And this is where it gets really interesting. We'll shut that door behind us. We got a bathroom on the right side, just the one there. We have the first aid, very important there. We have my room here on the right side. Yep. You know, this is where it happens. Got a nice window view. Got a place where I can sit and edit videos on my laptop. Got some books up there. Got my little bed. It's not extremely comfortable, but you know, what do you do? Life on a boat. Anyways, so we're gonna go head downstairs next, but first we're gonna go over here to the kind of a hangout room. It's kind of a place we can kind of chill. We can eat. We can again, we have a nice view out the window there. We have a mirror in here. Actually, that's not a mirror. It's a window going to the next room. And they have a TV screen, so you can kind of watch TV. You know, sometimes the trips get long, so you want to kind of be able to way to occupy your time in the off time. And here we have a kitchen, and this is where we get the grub, the tug grub. We got is that a refrigerator? Yeah, it's a refrigerator there. We got a stove, a sink, another window. You know, coffee maker, very important to have a coffee maker on a boat, microwave, all that good stuff. So that's cool. Upstairs is the bridge. We'll save that for last. But next, let's head downstairs to the engine room. So to head down here, down a couple stairs, plenty of fire extinguishers in case there's a fire, very important. And then here we have a little bit of a engineer's control room. So this is where you kind of make sure to have all our documentation, put in notes for maintenance and things like that. Right here we can actually monitor the temperatures of the engine, which is very important. Same thing here. We do have 2 engines on this tugboat. And then speaking of engines, let's head into the engine room. Check this out. So we have 2 engines on this Bernard tugboat. We got a little workstation here in the center. And we got full access to the engine from either side. We do have extra parts on board in case we have to make any repairs, because you never know, things can definitely go wrong. So again, 2 engines. I'll turn the HUD back on. You can see that I should be able to go here and actually check the air filter. Make sure that's good. You can see that on the left side of the screen, it shows the condition of each part. Now, you can't really go into too much detail of what you can change. You really only check the cooling system, the oil. I think the oil's right here. Just check oil. So we just check the oil, and the oil is good. You can also refill the oil, and you can refill the coolant as well. That's pretty much really all they allow you to really manage on this ship, but any of these parts can go wrong or break at any point throughout your trip. So it's very important actually while you're at port to stock up on extra parts, because if you go out and in the middle of a sail and you don't have extra parts to fix it, then you're gonna be stranded at sea. You're gonna have to call the Coast Guard. So very simple, but you know, I think I'm hoping they add a bit more details to what can be managed on the engine. But pretty cool. We can go back there. Obviously a pretty generic engine room, but still pretty sweet that we can actually get back there and check that out. All right, so that is done. Let's go now and head upstairs to the most important part of our tugboat today, and that is the bridge. That's gonna be up here. Very nice interior, by the way. It looks like the rain has finally stopped. So that's the back of the ship, or also known as the stern. I'm just learning these terms, by the way. I'm not even gonna act like I know what I'm talking about. I'm very new to ship sims and boat sims and maritime stuff. I've never been on a boat like this, so I literally have notes in front of me saying, oh, this left side is port, right side is starboard. Anyway, so this is the bridge. So I can show you around here. Starting from the left side, we have this little tablet here. Doesn't really do anything right now. We have a music radio, a CB radio, which we can use. And the CB radio basically opens up the interaction menu. We can do multiple types of interactions, like we can get the lights on and off, signal lights, our outer lights, the inner lights, like that. You can also teleport to different parts of the ship. So I can go to the engine room directly, or the deck. You know, sometimes that's really helpful when you're driving by yourself and you need to really quickly get somewhere. You can also go here and check out your engines, or set your engines to fast, slow, whatever. We have binoculars we can use to look around, which is cool. And what else do we have here in the interaction menu? We have crew. So there is a way to manage crew. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on, but you can do that as well. And you also can hear on the CB radio random radio chatter of other boats in the area. Also, you have this clock feature up top here. And say you're out at sea or something like that, and you want to kind of like, you know, fast forward to the next day or a few hours, you can do that by clicking on that clock up there. All right, so that's good over there on the left. That's pretty much it for that desk. On the right, nothing's over there. And now we have our main area. So on the left, we have some generic button panels. We have a navigation screen, which doesn't currently do anything. Some of the ships do have upgrades, so we may be able to upgrade our ship to make this work, but I'm not sure. Those are mainly career mode things, which we are in career mode right now. So we have generic buttons. So we got some controls here. We have the anchor. We can actually select the anchor. We can select the option to dock at the pier. We have our horn. Oh yeah, one more time. No? There we go. So yeah, there we have some generic screens. These screens, again, do not actually work at the moment. There's kind of static images. So again, early access game, not finished. So hoping to get more, you know, working functionality here on this control desk. That'd be pretty sweet. On the right side here, we have our little joystick. This joystick is what's used to actually control the forward and rear winches. Again, some more generic keyboards and buttons and stuff that don't actually do anything. Here we do have, I think, a spotlight, which I have to upgrade my ship to have a searchlight. We don't have one. I just bought this ship recently. We also have some other lighting panels, which we saw on the interaction menu. You can also do that in the 3D cockpit. And then we can actually sit in our driving seat here. And we have our two screens here. Now, both of these screens do actually work. We have our radar screen, which shows us a radar of everything around us. Land, boats, all the above. Then we have another map screen. This is the actual map, and it's a massive map. And if you see the parts that are in red, these are the areas that are not yet available in early access. But I mean, this is massive. If you're doing like a container ship or cargo run, you could probably spend, let's see, 2 to 4 hours on a trip, maybe more, maybe 5. I know that for a fact. from this point here, this little Gulf of Craigshire down to the south of the map will take you a good 2 hours to do straight. So if you add the rest of this map, then I mean, double that, triple that. And also, is this a real map? No, this is actually a fictional map with fictional ports based on the Baltic Sea. So it has real life inspiration, but these are not actual real places. I know some people are not going to like that. They probably want a ship sim that actually has like Amsterdam port or New York, and that will be cool too. But you know, this is kind of the route that they decide to go. And honestly, I don't hate it. I don't hate it personally. So anyways, that's the map. We'll take more look at that maybe on a different video. But today we are over here at Crescent Port, and we are expecting a ship to arrive here somewhere outside the port that's going to need us to take it to a spot on the dock. Okay, how do we get access to the mission? So we do have a tablet if I hit the T key. And now this is kind of like just all the missions that are available to me. So on the left side we have the story mode missions, we have the container missions of loading and unloading cargoes. Again, I'll show that in a different video. And then today what we're doing is the tug operations, but I will walk you through some of this other stuff. There's a messages tab, there's the fleet tab, and all the boats that are currently available in early access. So you have this massive container ship, a tugboat, we have the rigid, which is basically like a patrol boat, we have a firefighting boat, we have another patrol boat, and then we have a larger firefighting boat. So again, I'll show you some of those in a different video. I want to focus on just the tugboat today. So we are in career mode. So in career mode, you do have to buy each of these ships. They give you a starter ship to begin with for free, basically, but then you have to buy the rest of them. So I decided to buy the tugboat as my second ship, and I have upgraded it to a 3rd level. And we do have some upgrades on the left for durability, hull condition, fuel. Earlier I mentioned having extra parts. That's the resources. So if anything happens to your ship or your boat while you're out at sea, these are the parts you'll use to actually repair them. You also have different equipment like echo sounder, maps, binoculars, a radar, or better radars, the searchlight, which is pretty expensive. I'm not even gonna worry about that. We don't really need that as a tugboat operator. And then we have a better CB radio, which I'm not sure why you need that yet, but I don't think the economy has really been dialed in yet because the prices kind of seem all over the place right now. You can also hire crew. So if you want like a engineer to manage the engine, or an officer who can actually take control of your ship and drive it for you, those options are available for each ship. Then we have our banking, so we can actually go here and borrow money or take out loans or pay back our loans. Thankfully, I don't have any loans to pay right now, so we're good to go. Then we have our user information, where we can see our current level, what's in our next level unlocked. We can have a character editor, so if I want to change my ethnicity or my male or female, my clothes, my beard, things like that, you can all customize all those things. This is also the place where you can actually get tips and tricks and kind of tutorials on how to do different things. I think this area is very important. You have your achievements, and then you have your statistics. Alright, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and grab our first tug operation mission. We'll click here on tug operation. It shows us how much we're going to make, how much XP we're going to get, and we'll accept.
The ship is too big to maneuver in the port on its own. I need your help.
Alright, our mission is set up. So with the HUD on, we can see that our objective is there behind us. So we can hit the K key to undock. There it is. So now the mooring has now been removed and we are now free to move. Now, I'm using the mouse and keyboard, but you can also use a controller of any type. I'm going to go ahead and press the W key. I'm just going to pull straight forward. Our engine controls, our engine information is on the bottom right of our screen there. So I can pull straight out here. Again, I don't really like those highlighting boxes. To me, they're pretty immersion breaking. I would love for an option where we could remove those somehow, or at least hide them when you're parked or something like that. But anyways, so let's talk about ship controls. First of all, the water looks amazing. Second of all, I want to apologize that it might be a bit dark in this video because they have a dynamic weather system, at least in career mode, where you can't really change the weather. The weather just kind of, you know, organically changes on its own. And so since I've jumped on today, it's been rainy and then cloudy. It is daytime though. It is 9:40 in the AM, but sadly it is a cloudy, muggy day. And unfortunately, it seems like right now in early access, when you fast forward time, it doesn't actually fast forward the weather too. So I just noticed that seems to be an issue. But anyways, water looks amazing. I love, look at that wake back there.
If something doesn't go to plan.
That's like our manager or something like that. But our wake looks really good. Water looks really good. Water physics looks really good. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Again, this is an early access game, so if you see anything that you think is inconsistent, wrong, again, I am not an expert in tugboat operations or life at sea or anything, right? So I'm playing this as a gamer, but I want this to be as realistic as possible. So if you see anything that's inaccurate, definitely drop a comment in there. Hopefully the developers can see that so we can make this game as good as possible throughout the early access period. You can also see that as I turn, that wake does turn with me. Now the engine controls, this tugboat has 2 engines, and it can the propellers can spin 360 degrees. I can turn it all the way around, so you can actually go in reverse as well. And you could also independently control each of the propellers. If I hit the left mouse button, I now unlink, and I can only use the left propeller. And then if I hit right click, I can only use the right propeller. I can turn it off, for example. So very helpful in certain operations. But anyways, there's our container ship. Very kind of pretty small container ship. Hit the Q key to recenter our propellers. And so we're gonna flip this thing around and get in the spot ahead of the ship. Is he moving? No, he's not moving. All right, so we can get ahead of this ship here. Really sharp turn, so we need. You can also press H at any time to hide the HUD. All right. So I'm probably just gonna go up ahead of it and then back into it. That's what I'm gonna try to do. All right, so we're gonna rotate our props or propellers. I don't know if you call it propellers, I guess. Yeah, I think that should be okay. And then we'll go full speed behind us. It's a bit confusing at first to understand what direction to spin the propellers to go the right way. I'll take it nice and slow. There we go. All right, we're gonna get right into the they call it docking position, but we're just gonna get in position ahead of it. Once we get in the box, we hit click and hold K. That's gonna put us in position. Go ahead and kill the engines there. All right, now this is where it gets interesting. All right, we're now in position. All right, let's go back in the inside view by pressing the C key, and we'll get out of the helm by hitting the X key. Now we're in walk around mode. We go and open the doors, and we'll head to the back of the ship. We'll leave that door open. And now we'll do our winch. So we go back here. We got a guy on the other ship, and we'll go ahead and hit F to request the messenger line. Now you can see him pick up and throw the rope, which is pretty cool. And then when we go down here, I'm gonna pick up the rope, pick up the messenger line. There it is. We're now carrying the messenger line. I'm gonna connect that over here. All right, there it is. Now it's attached. Now it's attached to our winch. So what we gotta do now is go back inside, check on him. Are you good? Give him a thumbs up. All right, we'll head back inside to the control desk here. We'll shut that door. And then all I gotta do is go here on the right side, this little joystick, and hit tighten rope. And now you can see on the bottom right, we have a little camera view showing us the winch actually pulling and bringing in the slack. You can also see there visually the slack being brought up. And the other ship's also helping us with his winch as well. And that is good to go. All right, so now we're all connected. And that's pretty much it. That is the basics of the tug operation. I know in real life there's probably a lot more that goes into that, but that is the extent of what they've done here. Now, I believe, wow, okay, we're good. I believe if you do not bring up the slack, that you can somehow break the line. It says that in the tutorial that you can, oh no. No. Where are you going? Where are you going? Yeah, this is not legit. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry, guys. This is not legit. We got it. We're good, though. We're good. We're tugging. Tug life. Tug life. I love how I came from an airport tug driver to now tugging boats. I don't hate it though. Anyways, but yeah, this is the tugboat operations. Looks like with the fastest, they're probably gonna allow us to go around 11 or so knots. Look at that massive wake we're creating from the two ships. Oh my gosh. Okay, now this looks a bit better. This looks a bit more realistic now, yeah. So we'll pull it under the bridge, and it looks like they want us to take her over there, be docking over the container crane. So we'll do that. But yeah, in career mode, you have, you know, they mention different factions or whatever, and basically what they means is there's cargo, and then there's like patrol, firefighting, things like that, which are pretty fun too, where you can go out and respond to emergency calls with the firefighting ship, where you can go and inspect other ships in the area, make sure they have all their documents, make sure they're not doing anything illegal, stuff like that. And then if they are doing something illegal, you have to escort them to dock, right? Which is pretty interesting. There's definitely a lot more that they can do with a ship simulator. There's obviously a lot of different types of shipping operations and ships out there they can model and do, and I'm hoping they will actually do that. Again, I can't say this enough, this is a early access game. It will launch in early access, so don't expect a finished product. We're expecting multiplayer too, which is coming in the future, but I'm honestly looking forward to multiplayer. Multiplayer sounds like a really cool concept for a ship sim. Like, even this, we're only tugging at like 8.9 knots or so, which is fairly slow. It's gonna take us a bit of time to get there, but imagine you have a friend of yours with you also in an additional tugboat. If you notice, we're only pulling off of that front right side. There's space on the left side there to also have an additional tugboat to pull. So if you have two tugboats pulling, we can do this in, you know, half the time. So that's a pretty cool concept for that. But I have another idea for multiplayer, and that is not just like local multiplayer where it's like just you and a friend or 3 to 4 friends on your own like server, but I'm hoping that we can get like a full-on server for multiplayer. What I mean by that is, imagine this whole map where all these blue boats are real people. You know what I'm saying? Like a big server. And then as you get closer to people, you can actually hear them on the CB radio, you know, checking in or saying, hey, I'm entering into this port, I'm parking here, I'm doing that, this and that. You can also go in and request a tugboat. You have guys who actually role playing as tugboats at ports, and as you approach, you actually get tugboats help you, doing exactly what we're doing, right? So that's what I want to see out of multiplayer. I don't want to see, because, you know, ships at sea, if you guys have played that game, it's another ship simulator-ish type game, but it focuses more on fishing, which I would like to see more on here too. But they have a nice multiplayer, but it's really only, you know, personal. It's just you and your friends. It's not like you could just go join a server and be in a big world of ships. So I don't know what their vision is for multiplayer in this game. I have a feeling it is exactly that, just, you know, being able to invite your friend to a private, you know, little party. But I'm hoping for a much larger scale multiplayer event. But there's the containers on the right. Again, all these cities are fictional. You can control the, what do you call that thing? The crane. Yeah, you can actually control the crane on the container ship missions, which I will also show you that in another video. We'll actually be driving that ship that we're tugging right now in that video. So if you want to see that, check out that video. But yeah, I've been looking forward to this particular game for a long time. Been watching it, it's been on my radar. I could not wait for it to come out. I'm very thankful to Astragon for allowing me to take an early look at it. Didn't realize it was coming out in early access, but since it is, you know, a lot of these videos are going to be full of my suggestions and things that I would like to see, because I see so much potential. And honestly, it's such a beautiful game too. I mean, we finally got the clouds going away. We got this kind of partly broken cloudy skies now. We can actually see the lighting, the reflection off the water. And listen, when you're out in the middle, like right now we're in the port, and the water is pretty calm here in the port. When we get out there into the ocean, the waters get much rougher. Even on a nice day, the waves are much higher. But on a bad day, on a rainy day, a thunderstorm day, it gets pretty crazy, pretty intense. So can't wait to show you that. We'll see though, because again, it's all dynamic weather, so we don't really know what we're gonna get. And I do like that. I like that it's dynamic weather. The weather changes. All right, so we're gonna pull the boats into this area first, and then we'll release the tow line. So we'll have to do that from the interior view. So right now I'm controlling, again, with my mouse and keyboard, trying to keep it in the center-ish. And I think there should be good. Let's go here and hit our tow. All right, released. All right, we'll clear the mooring area. And now what we'll do, now that we have it in position, we're gonna turn around. We're actually gonna push it sideways into its docking position so they can moor it in. So we'll do that. Again, I'm not a huge fan. Matter of fact, look at that. You can actually see, now that the sun is up, you can actually see the propeller down there. You see that down there? Pretty cool. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the UI. I love the graphics, but I'm not a fan of the actual on-screen UI. Like, you know, this is not bad. I like that I can hide it, but I don't like all the arrows and, you know, blue orbs and things like that. Again, I would love for a way to have an option to either turn those off or have a minimum version of them. Let's do it to the inside view as we connect here. I'm gonna need the HUD for this. I think we're gonna overshoot. Yeah. Still getting used to control myself. You can't hit K here to align ourselves. I'm gonna try to do it without K. So I'm not sure if it'll even allow me to do it without K. Can I do it without auto aligning? I want to do it the hardcore way. Let's see. Alright. Easy. There we go. Yep, we can do it without it. Alright, full speed ahead. I'm gonna push. Yeah, so we're pushing the back, which is not good. Okay, cool. It accepted it. It accepted it. So again, pretty basic, guys. Pretty basic stuff. Very simplified. It's not a full-on, full-fledged, high-fidelity ship simulator. It's kind of watered down, and yeah, I think it's accessible. I would like to see a bit more realism options for those of us who want a bit more realism. So if you're expecting like some hardcore ship sim, this is honestly not it, but it's still pretty fun. And so I'd recommend, if you're still on the fence about this, watch a few more videos, see a few more different types of operations, and see if it really connects with you. Personally, I would like a more full-fledged ship sim, but I really enjoy this. I really do. I have a lot of hours. I think I have like 20-something hours in this game already, and I'm really enjoying all the different operations. And this ship is just one of the many ships you can do. Each ship has completely different interiors. Each ship has, you know, different options. Like the container ship even has a way to see the water depth on it and stuff like that. So it's a lot of cool things you can do. But that is tug operations, guys. So we can actually go back to the tablet. We could, you know, get another tug op if we want. But I'm gonna say that for a different video at a different time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are. And again, if you have any ideas of how this game can be improved, please drop those down in the comments. I want the developer to take all of our feedback, take all of our ideas, and consider them. That's the reason that they released this in early access, is because they want to build this with the community. They want the community to give them ideas, to give them feedback, so they can actually build the ship simulator that we all want, because we need it. This is an area, a niche that has been very neglected. We have a few ship games and ship sims out there that are very out of date. This so far, by far, is the nicest graphically, but we just, you know, would love to see a few more features and see what the full game ends up being. Well, guys, this was fun. I'm enjoying this game. I hope you do as well. Again, it's available October 7th in early access. Let me know what you think. Until next time, remember you have 3 choices: give up, give in, or give it all you got. Peace, love, and God bless you. I will see you guys next time, next video. See ya.